So here the question is given as the two short dipole A and B having dipole moment P1 and P2 respectively are placed with their axes mutually perpendicular as shown in the figure. The resultant electric field an angle of 60 degree with the line joining points O and X. The ratio of the dipole moments P2 and P1. So here you can see A and B are the two dipoles that are present here. So let's take PA and PB are the two dipoles. So as we can see that point X with respect to dipole A, it plays at axial point, and with respect to dipole B, it placed at equatorial point. So first of all, we want to know about the expression of the electric field of an dipole for an axial point and for an equatorial point. So if I write minus Q and plus Q, the two charges, equal and opposite charges are separated by distance 2a, then the dipole P vector can be written for a point on an axis, let's say point P at a distance say r, can be written as P vector axial as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by r cube into p cap. P cap means for this case, the direction of the electric field will be from minus q to plus q charge. That means along this direction, the electric field expression. Okay. Now for the next case, when the two charges separated by a distance, a separation say 2a, and at equatorial point, let's draw the equatorial point. So at a distance r, so as we know that for minus charge, the electric field along this direction, and for plus charge, then the net electric field will be in opposite to the direction of the dipole. So that means we can write for the expression equatorial point 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught p by r cube into minus p cap. The minus sign defines that the direction of the electric field equatorial point will be in the direction of the opposite to the direction of the dipole. So dipole from minus q charge to plus q charge, and the electric field direction for equatorial point will be in opposite direction. If we consider those two cases here, then we can easily draw that here for the PA, where we can see that for the axial point, so if you want to write for the axial point, so the direction of the electric field will be minus q to plus q charge. That means the electric field direction will be along this direction. Then we can write it is for EA vector. Okay. And for the dipole B, you can say that the direction will be from plus to minus q charge. So my plus to minus q charge means along this direction. This is for EP. If you want to write the expression of EA and EB, we can write EA equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 into PA, since P1 is given, so that's why you can also write the P1 for the PA. So P1 by R cube, rather than R cube, we can also write that the distance is from the middle, that is O X cube. We don't need to write the cap because I am already showing you the direction of the electric field, and EB equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P by, similarly the distance is OX, so OX cube. I don't need to write the minus sign because I have already mentioned that for the minus sign, the direction of the electric field at equatorial point from plus q to minus q charge. Similarly, from plus q charge to minus q charge. That's why we don't need to write the direction, or we don't need to write the negative sign here. Now, what we have to calculate? We need to calculate the ratio of the dipole moment, that is P2 by P1. To calculate the dipole moment of P2 by P1, what we can do, we can easily write EA by EB, or say for P2 by P1 we can write, so let's write as a P2 for EB, then we can write easily say EA by EB. So before that we want to see that the resultant electric field point X making an angle 60 degree. That means according to the vector notation we can write it will be the electric field, the EB and EA, the direction. You can write it will be the net. It makes an angle 60 degree with the line joining O and X. That means this angle will be 60 degree. This angle will be 60 degree. So if this angle is 60 degree, then we can easily write tan 60 degree. So for tan 60 degree, we can also draw a line and say that EA equals to EB. So that means we know that tan 60 degree equals to height by base. We can write that tan 60 degree equals to height. This is nothing but EB by base. This is EA. If we put all those values and after calculation, we can easily write that EB by EA, that means P2 by 2 P1. Simple calculation was there, so we don't need to write the calculation there. Now, or tan 60 degree, as we know, the value is root 3. So therefore, P2 by 2 P1 equals to tan 60. Therefore, we can write P2 by P1, the desired value, P2 by P1 is equals to 2 root 3. That means option number 2 is right. Thank you.